Good evening, everyone. We are here again with another one of our glorious, great countdowns shows that we're going to be bringing to y'all throughout the summer months to pass the time till we get that tee on the field and the ball set up and kicked off down the field, and let's get this college football season rolling again. So tonight we're going to go through our top 10 running backs we're bringing back this year. Little, advice. We are just a little quick heads up. We are using the expectation that Ahmad Hardy will be 100% going back into the season. So that's what we went with this. I don't expect anything different. I haven't heard anything different. So I fully expect Ahmad Hardy to be ready to go when the season kicks off. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Anybody joining and watching, drop your comments. We'll get back to them as quick as we can. But we're going to introduce the wonderful gentleman we got joining me this evening. Up in the upper corner right next to me, you'll see Robert, run WTP for life, put us all together. Still say I'm not sure he likes that decision, but we're going to go with it until he kicks us all out. So what's going on over there?
Hey, man, listen, I'm excited to be here tonight. Listen, y'all. 3 more days and 34 years later, your brother gonna be retiring from Columbus City Schools, going on to my next chapter in life. I'm ready for this. Come on, 3 more days. Let your boy go free.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's a huge accomplishment and something to definitely be proud of. We wish you the best in retirement. We know you ain't going to be retired. You're going to be on this thing more and more and more. We ain't ever going to be able to get rid of you. You're going to be everywhere.
That's right.
That's good. Congratulations on a career like that. That's a great thing.
Thank you, sir.
And not to be mentioned, not last and definitely not least, our man down at the bottom holding it down from the Hoosier State, the big Notre Dame supporter. Anything you want to know Notre Dame, go look at that man's page and get what you want. I can't say the same about Robert because he's a Texas fan and I don't want people going over there, but that's a different subject. So what's going on over there post-game? How's it rolling over there with you?
Man, happy to be here with y'all, man, as always, man. And congratulations on the retirement, Rob. I know that's well-deserved. I hope you have a lot of fun in your next endeavor.
For sure. Thanks, bro.
Doug and his congratulations. You saw that one. So without further ado, we'll jump into this. How was our list tabulated for this exercise? We'll go through this every episode we do. Everybody sends me their list, 1 through 10, with 5 honorable mentions. I tabulate them on a running scale of 10 to 1. 10 for first place, obviously. And then I sit down and I add all the numbers up. And this is how we come out with the list of the WTP Sports Dudes top 10 running backs for 2026. So that's how we tabulate it. So that's what we do. Quick question before we get into the honorable mention people here. I'd like to get both of your takes. How hard was this list to compile? And I'll let you jump off post game.
Extremely difficult to come together with just the top 10. There's a lot of exciting, really good backs in college football. Some information on my end trickled in late before or after I made my list. So, for example, Justice Haynes, he should have been on my top 10, but I didn't have the information that I have today. He seems to be healthy and practicing with the team. So I'm glad he's on the list because the way I made my list was that I didn't hear anything about him being healthy yet, but I did hear something about him being healthy. So I'm glad he's on the top 10 list, but this was a difficult list to make.
Rob, your thoughts on it?
Man, it was extremely difficult. I mean, you can think of maybe 4 or 5 guys off the top of your head who you know last year played really well when they were returning for another year. But after that, you had to do a little bit of research because there's some other guys that you saw, and you feel like this might be their breakout year because now they'll be the man toting the rock for their team. So it was very difficult, man, to get 10 and then another 5 honorable mention guys without leaving somebody that's really, really good off of your list. And that was a difficult thing to do because you could probably come up with about 25 to 30 guys and you had to buckle it down to 10 and 5 honorable mentions. So it was very, very difficult.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of these lists go 20 on these lists I've seen. And I think, 20, okay, I can run through 20 pretty easy. I think we all could, but I wanted everybody to have to put some thought into it. You get down to 10, 11, and 12, and post game, you might have him 10, and I got him 11, and Rob's got him 9, and because we know they need to be on the list, but where? So it was extremely hard. It was not fun. The quarterback list to me was a lot easier. The one we did last week was a lot easier than this one. And the next one will be worse because it's wide receivers coming up. So that's going to be brutal. So without further ado, let's jump into the guys that were our honorable mention crew. Made the list, didn't get any votes into the top 10. And it starts off with Wayne Knight, Jordan Marshall, Jeremiah Cobb, Cam Edwards, and Mekhi Hughes. All really good running backs in my mind. Just probably not that upper tier that they needed to be yet. Could be. Your thoughts on the list of the guys who just barely missed it, Rob?
Man, I think out of those guys on that list, I think I might only have one guy that I had Wayne Knight in my honorable mention, and he might have been the only one. I think Cam Edwards might have made mine. No, that's Cam Cook. So yeah, that's a really good list. Jordan Marshall is one that I was thinking really hard on what was this kid's name for Michigan that came in to spell Justice Haynes. No, yeah, I think that's his name, Justice Haynes. At Michigan last year, and I couldn't quite grasp his name, and he carried the rock for them after Haynes went down for the season. I couldn't think of his name, but he definitely would have been in my honorable mention. Maybe even at number 10 had I remembered his name.
Any thoughts post game?
Yeah, I'm out of this list. I'm probably highest on Cam Edwards. Just revitalized that UConn rushing game last season. Double-digit touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. Now he's at Michigan State, where he should be surrounded by better ball players. This is a guy I had high on my just miss list. So out of these guys, I'm probably highest on Cam Edwards.
Yeah, Cam Edwards was interesting to me. I almost put him on my honorable mention list for what he did at UConn, but to pretty much bring that program back to any kind of relevance by himself, pretty much. My concern is, can he do it in the Big Ten? That would be my only concern. This is a major step in competition coming up for him, but we're going to see what happens. But yeah, he was one I struggled with. In fact, I think I had him on my honorable mention and then crossed him out and re-added him and crossed him out again. So that's our honorable mention. Going on to our guys who were missing the top 10, but got some votes for the top 10 from some people. And these are in order from the least amount of votes to the top amount. And you'll see the number of votes received in parentheses after each name. So Darius Taylor and King Miller each got 1 vote. Kind of shocked King Miller was that low. Hollywood Smothers got 3. Shout out Doug Jones. That's the 3 votes he got. Caleb Hawkins, 4. Deshaun Bishop, 5. And Nate Frazier from Georgia, 9. Post game, we'll give you the first run at analysis on this one.
Yeah, I like these. I like this group of running backs. I'm really high on Hollywood Smothers and Deshaun Bishop from Tennessee. Hollywood Smothers, man, going down there to Texas with Relief Brown. I think that's going to be a dynamic running back duel, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Deshaun Bishop, not the fastest running back, but definitely a physical guy and a playmaker. So out of these guys, I would say I had, and Caleb Hawkins, another physical guy, I believe for Auburn. That's the SEC is definitely represented well on this list. So those guys I was really highest on as far as the guys just missing the top 10.
Yeah,
Rob?
for me, the shocking thing on there, and 3 of these guys I had on my honorable mention: Hollywood Smothers, Caleb Hawkins, and Deshaun Bishop. That Nate Frazier, man, I think that if Nate Frazier and Georgia was a team that produced a lot of 1,000-yard backs, then maybe he would be in this top 10. I had him in my top 10 towards the bottom of the team. But I feel like if he was on a team that would feature him and give him enough carries to get 1,000 yards, he would probably be higher on people's boards. But the fact that Georgia does not produce a lot of 1,000-yard rushers. They usually have a 2-back system where they have 2 guys with about 750 yards, and then another 3rd guy with about 400 or 500. And I think that's probably what's hurting him, probably in our top 10, is that he just does not get enough touches to rush for over 1,000 yards like the ones that we got in our top 10 get to do.
Yeah, 100%. Hollywood Smothers, to me, I mean, him and Relief Brown both, you just don't know what you're going to get because who's going to get the majority of the carries down there. It's going to be split so much, but both of them super dynamic running backs. You can't go wrong either way. Really want to see what Caleb Hawkins does up at Oklahoma State after coming out of North Texas. Really want to see what he can do. Deshaun Bishop, I had him in my honorable mention list because I'm afraid Tennessee's going to struggle at quarterback and people are going to load the box to stop him. Can they is a different subject, but I think that's what you're going to see until Tennessee figures out their quarterback position. So that's where I had him down there.
Caleb,
go ahead.
Real quick, I had Caleb Hawkins in my top 10, I believe. I would have Caleb Hawkins over Bo Jackson. That's just my personal opinion.
Fair. That's what we're here for. The analysis, the debate, the rank, whatever. I mean, that's perfectly acceptable for sure. I could see that either way. Like I said, they could put up some numbers at North Texas. Let's see what he does at Oklahoma State. But boy, he went off at North Texas last year. That whole offense went off. Let's just call it what it is. We got Doug down here. Before we jump into the top 10, I want to highlight this one. Bryson Washington from Baylor. I've got to say, I'm not 100% aware of his game. So I can't really say much about it. I don't know if y'all are familiar with his game much and got anything to add about him.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Post. My bad, Post. Go ahead.
No, you can go, Rob.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think anytime you get a quarterback like Baylor has got, DJ Lagway, a guy who can hurt you with his legs as well as his arm, I think that's only good for the running back position. Anytime you got a quarterback who can hurt defenses with his leg, I think that opens up a lot of things for a running back. So definitely a running back to keep your eye on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rob.
I was going to say the same thing. Whenever you can freeze that guy that's trying to come down off that edge, because the possibility of DJ Lagway pulling that sucker out and going out that back door, that's going to create a lot of opportunities for Bryson Washington. He should have an opportunity to really, really explode this year. The fact that he's only a sophomore is probably why many of us left him off our list. And these guys that we got on our list was already guys who we've seen do a lot already. So, but that's a really good name to throw out there, Doug. That's a really good name to throw out there.
Yep, can't lie. Just didn't. Well, I mean, I heard about him, but I wasn't fully aware of his game. So let's jump into the top 10. The true top 10 for running backs here. We're going to start with number 10. Turns out to be Bo Jackson, not that Bo Jackson. He would be number 1 on this list. But Bo Jackson from Ohio State came in with 10 votes in our rankings. He was a true freshman last year. Am I correct? Right? Kid had an amazing season. I can remember watching him. He would go no gain, no gain, no gain 30, no gain, no gain, no gain 20. The kid was just electric. And he's only going to get better with a year under him. So, Rob, you want to jump off on him first? Since that's actually, I'm going to let post game go because, Rob, you got him coming up in a few months in the second game of the season. That's going to be something y'all have to watch, I'm sure. So, post game, what do you got on old Bo Jackson?
Yeah, I think I like Bo Jackson even more this season. I know he only has 6 touchdowns, a little over 1,000 yards. I expect those numbers to increase. New offensive coordinator, a guy who likes to run the ball, zone schemes off the edge. So I expect Bo Jackson for Ohio State Buckeyes to have an improved and big year.
Yeah, I feel like Ohio State's offense really took off a little bit more once Bo Jackson became their running back. Peoples just wasn't getting the job done, and then the transfer running back they had from West Virginia, he was just more of a short yardage back. He really didn't have the speed to hit those holes and to break out. And so once Bo Jackson got back there, he really made a lot of noise for that Ohio State offense. I think he might have had 8 or 9 100-yard rushing games or somewhere close to that. He played really, really well last year. Doug said he averaged 5 yards a carry last year, which is really, really good. The thing that concerned me about Bo last year, though, whenever they played against the better opponents, like when they played Indiana and when they played Miami, he didn't fare so well because their defensive line was able to contain him. So hopefully Ohio State's offensive line is better at run blocking than they were last year so that he can really, really improve on his stats in year 2.
I had to ask Doug. I didn't know if he was talking about Jackson or if he was throwing that at me for Bryson Washington. So I don't know who he was talking about, but yeah, Bo Jackson, like you said, I think he kind of supplanted himself as the number 1 going into the next year after that performance at the end of the season in what he did. So next, post game, you'll lead this one off because unfortunately we're going to have to spend time talking about Mr. Raleek Brown from the University of Texas, who came in with 12 votes.
Yeah, I have Raleek Brown as a top 5 guy. That's how high I think of him. I think he's an amazing back. Not the biggest guy, goes about 5'9", 190 plus, but he's a physical runner. And dude has more moves than the Dancing with the Stars winner. He also has home run ability. So put him at Texas with a guy like Hollywood Smothers. I think this backfield is going to be truly dynamic. I love Raleek Brown. top 100 guy coming out of high school. I expect a huge season out of him down in Texas this season.
Rob, before you go off on Malik Brown, I was really shocked, Rob, that you put both Brown and Smothers in your honorable mention. Didn't have either one of them in your top 10. I was not calling out a homerism or anything, but I really expected you to have one of them in your top 10.
I thought about putting Malik Brown at maybe 9 or 10. I put him at 11 right at the beginning of the honorable mention. I just felt like the guys that I had ahead of him, I feel like he's going to probably be in a better situation in terms of getting more carries than he would to really be able to show why they would be in the top 10. And then I didn't want to be too homerish. So I said, if I put these two guys at least in honorable mention, the guys will look at my list and say, well, at least he wasn't a homer, you know. But I really like Malik Brown. He's a guy who Texas is going to be able to rely on to run inside zone, outside zone, catch the ball out the backfield. He's going to be able to do a whole lot of stuff. He reminds me of Jaden Blue. The difference is he can run inside zone where Blue could not run inside zone. And I'm ecstatic about what we're going to be able to see out of him and Hollywood Smothers. I just hope both of them stay healthy. Last year, the injury bug affected that running back room last year for Texas. If it doesn't affect them this year, sky's the limit in terms of what this running back room can do in a Steve Sarkisian offense. I really like Malik Brown at 10, and I think that's a good choice for WTP Sports Dudes, everybody who put their list in.
Let me say this real quick. I don't, Rob, listen, man, I don't think, like, if you believe that your running back is that good, I think you should put him where you think he should be ranked without thinking about homerism, because you got to think. Last year, many people probably thought I was being a homer putting Jeremiah Love number 1. But what ended up happening? He was the number 1 back. I truly believed he was the number 1 back. But man, listen, I really think Texas did a hell of a job getting those running backs out of the portal. And like I said, I expect big things.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I wasn't here when y'all went through this last year, but I would almost imagine that it was probably almost unanimous that Love was the number 1 running back in y'all's rankings last year. No,
it wasn't.
Wow. Okay. That kind of takes me back. I mean, I would have had that penciled in for sure. I'd have lost money on that one. But yeah, for sure. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's your guy and he's that good. Put him in there. I mean, you know. But yeah, it was just crazy. And I'm going to tell y'all something. That Texas backfield's going to be nasty with those two. Plus, you throw in Arch's legs. That backfield's going to be nasty. I'm not looking forward to trying to. I'm glad Mike Elko was in charge of trying to stop that instead of me, because I would probably fake a hamstring and go home. So, moving up the list, we have Isaac Brown from Louisville coming in 14 with 14 votes. What you got on Isaac Brown, Rob?
I think I might have had Isaac Brown right around maybe 5 or 6, somewhere around in there. I really like Isaac Brown, and I felt like Texas had a real strong push to get Isaac Brown because they thought he was going to jump in the portal, but he didn't do so. He stayed at Louisville. But I know that he was the number 1 running back that Texas was trying to get because there was some buzz that he was going to jump in the portal, but he didn't. I really like Isaac Brown. I think he's a really good running back. 9 is a good spot for him, but I had him, I think, around 5 or 6 on my list. I really like Isaac Brown. And I think that him in that offense with the Brown, are they brothers, the Brown brothers at Louisville? He's going to be dynamic. And he's going to be the running back that's going to help them possibly win the ACC or at least make it to the ACC championship game if he stays healthy.
Yeah, one of the more slighter built running backs, but just dynamic, man. Isaac Brown is awesome. I'm a huge fan of the way he plays football. Getting Lincoln King holds from Ohio State, I think that's going to help him in the receiving game. You've seen his receiving numbers dip down a little bit. I would like to see his receptions up to 30 plus like it was in 2024. A dynamic guy who can take it to the house from anywhere on the field. I think he's in store for a huge season.
Yeah, 100%. I think he is in the exact system for his style. I believe running backs, if they get the right system to run in that fits their running style, I think that's a huge upside for him. We'll get to one here in a little bit that I believe is in the exact system for him. But that's kind of how I look at Isaac Brown is you put him in an offense that's going to hand it straight off the more of a power running like a Georgia would like to do or something. I don't think he has the success he has at Louis that he does at Louisville. Not to say he wouldn't be good. I just think the system he's in at Louisville is better for his style. Moving on up the list, we have Cam Cook from West Virginia. Everybody had him in their top 10. Rob, you had him 10. Post, you had him 8. And I had him 8. So we'll go with the lowest seeding first. We'll let Rob go first here.
I really like Cam Cook, and I think that the style of play that he has really fits. It's Rich Rod, right? He's their new head coach that they brought back in there. I like him. I like Cam Cook, and when they lost their big running back to Ohio State last year, this guy came right in there and did his thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again this year. I just hope that West Virginia can be more competitive and have a defense good enough to allow their running game to be able to perform week in and week out so that they don't have to throw the football a whole lot. If they can just stick to their running game, this guy can have a phenomenal season. Cam Cook, West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Rich Rod and West V. I think he fits that system and what they want to do at West Virginia. This is a guy who led the nation in rushing last season. I think he's going to be huge for that system. A guy who can break tackles and can hurt you in the receiving game as well. I really like Cam Cook. I wouldn't be surprised in this West Virginia offense if he led the nation in rushing again. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. When you have a bell cow like that, you got to lean on him a little bit. And I think he's what's going to be the straw that stirs the drink for West Virginia. I think they'll go as far as he can take them, which could be pretty far. Don't get me wrong. Not saying a playoff caliber team or anything, but a team that could definitely jump up and bite some people for sure, ruin somebody's season. Then we get to number 6 on our list. Kind of about where I thought this guy would land. We're going to go on out west and hit L.J. Martin from BYU. This kid, I think this is his 6th year. I know he's had some injuries before, so but if you've seen him run, this kid runs hard. So Texas kid too, so I got to give him some love. We'll let post game can hit this one first with L.J. Martin. What do you think on him? You had him 6. Rob, you had him 8. Yeah, and I had him 4. I had him 4th.
Yeah, and I understand. I completely understand why. This is a huge kid, very physical runner. I think he's going to be great for BYU once again this season. You can book him for over 1,000 yards and 10+ touchdowns. I think you can take that one to the bank right now. 6'2", over 200 pounds, physical runner. I love his toughness. I think he's going to do big things this season.
Yeah, I think once BYU lost their quarterback last year because of whatever the rules infraction he had, as far as being at a Mormon school, and they had to insert a guy who hadn't had no playing time at all. LJ Martin was the reason why this BYU's team offense was able to score points because you could always stick it in his belly and he could get some yardage for you. He could help control games. And I feel like if their defense is as good this year as it was last year, they're going to be right back in the thick of things in the Big 12. And I think it's going to be because of LJ Martin and their run game. I really like him. I had him at 8, but he could definitely be anywhere from 4 to 8, in my opinion. And I like the fact that both of y'all had him a little bit higher than I did. Um, he's a really good running back, really good running back.
Yeah, he's a good state. I think he's going to benefit more from his quarterback is going to have another year underneath him. It was almost like when BYU got, if that quarterback got frazzled, he would just hand the ball off and be like, go. I think you're going to see him much more composed. He's had a full year of starting under his belt, and he knows I've got him behind me if something goes wrong. So I like LJ Martin a lot. I think he's going to have a superb year for BYU. And he honestly probably needs to be, just because BYU expects to be in the playoffs, and he's going to be a huge part of that. Jump back up here. Now we're going to get into our top 5, and you can see the gap kind of jump for the top 5. LJ Martin had 19 votes. Our top 5 kicks off with number 5, Mr. Jaden Ball from Florida, who a lot of people thought was going to transfer, but he stayed. Huge get for Florida. It's a huge get for them. Don't know if you can overemphasize that for that team. So, being the SEC guy, I'm going to let you hit this one first, Rob, about Jaden Ball with Florida.
Man, I love Jaden Ball. I actually had him number 1 on my list. I love Jaden Ball. He shredded my Texas Longhorns last year. I feel like there was rumors that he was going to hit the portal. And I'm telling you right now, my Texas Longhorns was licking their chops because they were going full throttle after this guy. They was ready to pull back the Brinks truck and just open up the thing and say, how much money do you want to be in it for you to come to Texas? I really love him. I think running in between the tackles, actually having the power to break tackles and get up the field, he is a really, really nice back, man. I really like him. Florida did a good job of keeping him. But, man, I'm telling you right now, I wish he would have hit that portal because we would have got him. But the only thing is, if we would have got him, we wouldn't have been able to get another running back, the combination of a Malik Brown or a Hollywood Smothers, though, had we gotten Ball. But I really like Ball. I had him number 1 on my board.
Yeah, man, I'm not mad at him being number 1, Rob. I'm not mad at that, not one bit. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the season if he isn't the number 1 back in college football. I'm interested to see how the new coaching staff uses him. If they're intelligent, which I'm pretty sure they are, he's going to sweep all running back awards and probably be a first-team All-American. This is a guy who's a physical back, but he has wiggle. He's electric. He's agile. He can make plays all over the field. I love Jaden Ball. I would not be surprised one bit, fellas, if he's the number 1 back at the end of this season.
Yeah. Doug had a comment. I've been waiting to show this one until we got to Jaden Ball. Doug says we need to really talk about him. He's really good. He ran all over Texas. So I definitely had to highlight that comment. The kid's good. I don't know what else I can say that has already been said. He's electric. He breaks tack. He's that rare, you don't see it as much anymore, of that rare combination of just physical speed and strength. And I'm going to put a comparison with him and LJ Martin. When you get done with the fourth quarter of that, playing those two, you're going to know you played those two. You're going to be hurt. So I think Jaden Ball probably slots about right there. Any of these top five could have been 1 through 5 in my mind, to be honest with you. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. Next, we're going to switch over to the ACC and bring in former Michigan running back, now at Georgia Tech, Justice Haynes. I was thinking to myself earlier, man, Georgia Tech must love those people with the name Haynes in their name somewhere. Haynes King, Justice Haynes. I don't know who we're going to get next year. But we'll let Post, you can hit Justice first.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite running backs in the country. Here's a guy who led the Big Ten in rushing before he went down with the foot injury. I had no kind of insight on how his rehab was going, but what I learned today is that his rehab is going really well, so I'm happy to see him in the top 5, as he was not in my top 5 list. But at Georgia Tech, you just know they want to run the ball. You just know their offensive line is going to be making holes for Mr. Justin Hayes. I expect him to have a big season. I don't know if Georgia Tech can compete in the ACC, but I definitely expect him to have a lot of highlights.
Yeah, I really like Justice Haynes as well. He was leading the country in rushing last year, at least yards per game, until he got injured at Michigan. The year before going to Michigan, he was at Alabama. Maybe had he stayed at Alabama, then maybe they would have had a better running game. But I doubt it, because that offensive line wasn't blocking worth 2 cents. But, man, I really like him. I think at Georgia Tech he's going to have an opportunity to carry the ball a lot. I hope that he can stay 100% healthy so that his NFL draft stock can be right where he wants it to be, and he can be an NFL running back that gets drafted at least early in the second round. I like Justice Hayes. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player for Georgia Tech this year, as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, I compared Justice Haynes and Georgia Tech almost like I look at Cam Cook at West Virginia. Georgia Tech's going to go where Justice Haynes can take them. I think the injury last year was really bad. Obviously, missing the whole year. He has everything I knew. He's fine. Post game already mentioned that. He looked it up. He seems to be doing fine. So, will Georgia Tech compete in the ACC? I don't know. I think Georgia Tech lost a lot. Now, they did get Mendoza as a quarterback down there, didn't they? Did Fernando's brother? Isn't that where he transferred to? Was Georgia Tech? Where did he transfer to?
I don't think so.
I thought he transferred to Georgia Tech.
No, where did Fernando Mendoza little brother transfer to? I forget what school. I'll look it up.
Somebody look, yeah, you get it, look that up. But I thought he went there, but I could be wrong. So no worries there. We'll get an answer to that pretty quick. But again, I think Justice Haynes is going to be pretty much what Cam Cook is to West Virginia.
You are correct. You are correct. He's at Georgia Tech.
I need to get my phone and record somebody saying that. I don't hear that very often. So, yeah, I thought he went to Georgia Tech. But even then, that's a first-year starter at Georgia Tech. So I think Haynes is going to be the one they're going to have to lean on to until maybe Mendoza gets more comfortable. We've seen what first-year starters do, even ones that are super hyped as the Heisman Trophy handout winner automatically. They kind of fall apart in the beginning of the season. So, not throwing any shade, Arch. Not throwing any shade. Next, we're going to stay in the ACC. And this is pretty spot on. We're going to jump over to Mark Fletcher, Miami, 34 votes. And for reference, there was a possible 50 points total in this ranking system because there was 5 of us that voted on it. So pretty good turnout to have 34. Let me see. Who wants to hit him first? Who's got a lot to say about Mark Fletcher? Which, by the way, this just sounds like a running back name. Mark Fletcher just sounds like a running back. So, whichever one of y'all's got the first and most insight on and jump on it, doesn't really matter who hits first.
I mean, Mark Fletcher is a beast, 6'2", over 220 pounds, physical runner, can really get downhill and punish tacklers. I felt like in the national championship game, they should have went to him even more earlier. In the second half, he had that breakaway run for the touchdown. It's going to be interesting to see. I know Miami recruits the offensive line very well, but they lost a lot on the offensive line. So it's going to be interesting to see how they replace their offensive line and if that affects Mark Fletcher, because once this guy gets going, look out, man. He's hard to tackle.
Yeah, Mark Fletcher was the difference for Miami down the stretch in the playoffs. And I agree with you post-game. Had they gave him the ball a lot more to start that game and in that first half, they probably would have had a chance to win that thing in the end. He was able to really turn it up in the second half once they started giving him the touches. I feel like this running back is such a durable running back that you can give him the rock as many times as you needed to. And I think once they realize that this guy can carry this team, it sort of helped Carson Beck in those big moments, except for on that pass that he threw at the end of the game against Indiana in the national championship game. But I felt like if they understood that earlier in the season, maybe they would have been able to win one of those 2 losses that they had. But I really like Mark Fletcher. I think I had him maybe 3 on my list, maybe 4 on my list. But I really like him. I think he's a really, really good running back. And Miami was able to keep him on that roster was great.
Yeah, I had an up close and unfortunately front row view of Mark Fletcher in the playoffs. After we played Texas, I thought, okay, Elko will get the defense shored up. We're going to be fine against the run. No big deal. Well, no. Then came Mark Fletcher, and we were not fine against the run. And I'm not going to say that's on A&M's defense. I'm saying that's Mark Fletcher. He ran over some people. Torian York, he ran over Torian York on a play. And Torian York is not somebody normally gets run over. Okay. But he did it, and I was like, okay. And from that point forward, I started watching him more as their playoff run kept going and realized, yeah, you probably should have leaned on him a little bit more in the early part of the season. So, but no big deal on that. Great running back. Shocked he's actually still at Miami, to be honest with you. Just kind of shows to me that he probably wants to have a shot at running for that ring. And with what they've done in Miami, they might have that shot. So we'll jump off of him. And now we're going to finish off with the top 2, which is another pretty big gap. And remember, there was 50 total points available. Number 2, Ahmad Hardy out of Missouri, 46 votes. I'm going to let postgame hit this one first, Rob second, and then we'll flip it on the next one.
I mean, man, the elephant in the room when it comes to Ahmad Hardy is, how would the gunshot wound affect him, if any, for the upcoming season? He seems to be recovering nice. Uh, there's not really much solid information out there about his recovery and rehab. So, but I expect him to be ready for the season. And if Ahmad Hardy is ready for the season, I believe here's a guy who can easily be a Heisman candidate for the Missouri Tigers in that SEC conference. I mean, just a guy who can be physical, a bruising back, and make plays all over the field. A lot of analysts had him number one on their list, so I'm not mad. Anywhere top five, you can put Ahmad Hardy. I know some people are a little scared, turned off because of the gunshot wound, and rightfully so. That's a leg injury to a running back, but if he's able to get right and get back in time for the season, he'll be fine. He'll dominate.
Yeah, I really like Ahmad Hardy, man. I think he's one of those running backs that you wish you had on your team because you know he's gonna come with his lunch pail every day, give you everything he got, and he ain't gonna take no breaks, man. And I feel like if Missouri's quarterback would have stayed healthy last year and they didn't have to go all the way to their fourth string quarterback, he would have had a much more dynamic season. I really like him. I think that if he recovers from this gunshot wound and gets to 100%, he could be maybe the number one running back in the SEC by the time the year ends. My Texas Longhorns will get to face him this season, so hopefully Texas is up for the challenge and they can hold him down a little bit. But I really like Ahmad Hardy a lot.
Well, this is a recurring theme that you'll hear. If you want to see Ahmad Hardy, anybody watching that's not 100% sold on him out of Missouri, go to YouTube, click on Missouri versus Texas A&M, and just watch. A&M beat the snot out of Missouri. I'm going to tell you that. We beat them down. But we didn't beat Ahmad Hardy down. That dude, I mean, there's plays where he had four guys on him and he somehow breaks through and goes off for like 60. I mean, he's dynamic. I am hoping he'll be okay. Everything I've heard is he expects to be 100% when the season starts. Now, it is a gunshot wound in the leg. Things can happen. So we'll see how it plays out from there. But great, he's in the right system. That outside zone that Drink runs is perfect for Hardy. He knows when to plant. He knows when to stretch it. He knows when to cut north and south. So Ahmad Hardy, I actually I had him second. Post game, you had him first. Zay had him second, and Rob, you had him third. So we all pretty much think pretty high on him. And then we go to let's see, what comments do we have down here? Any good comments we need to hit before we reveal number one? Oh, Anthony, our buddy Anthony's in there. You saw him post game. I saw you respond. Third, Georgia Tech. Let's see. Rob, this will be something for you. He said, Anthony said, when he looks at Ahmad Hardy, he reminds him of Chris Johnson, Tennessee.
Wow, really?
No, he said his partner in Tennessee. He must be talking about the running back from USC.
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
I missed that.
That used to be Reggie Bush's running mate. I believe
he was
with Chris
White.
Johnson. Lindell White. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
White.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see him as Chris Johnson, but I missed the partner word in there. Good catch, post game. Reading is fundamental, everyone. Then we jump to we'll go ahead and jump into our number one overall, which I think we all already know who it's going to be. And it is one Kewan Lacey from Mississippi. 47 out of the 50 votes he got. And Rob, you can lead off with Lacey. Do y'all have Ole Miss this year, don't you?
We do have Ole Miss this year.
I thought y'all have the top 2 running backs on your schedule. If in our rankings you have the top 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those guys too. I think we might go to Missouri, but I think Mississippi comes to Texas this year. So I'm looking forward to both of those matchups. But I really like Kewan Lacey, man. I feel like in the playoffs, he really was able to show his stuff. I think during the season, maybe Trinidad Chambers might have been overshining his ability to run the football. But, man, when they were forced to have to run that thing, man, he was breaking runs. He was making things happen out the backfield, catching the ball. I really like Kewan Lacey. I don't know if they're going to have the offensive power that they had last year that's going to allow him to make some of those runs and some of those plays. But if they got the players around him that keep people from having to load the box to keep him contained, he might have one of those seasons, man, that might lead him to New York. So I'm looking forward to Kewan Lacey this year and seeing what he does. Having Trinidad Chambers back there is definitely going to help. I think he's definitely one of the top 3 running backs we got on our list. I had him at number 2, but I could definitely see him at number 1 as well because I think they all are interchangeable once you get in that top 5.
Yeah, agreed, my man. Devastating running back. Just look at his numbers, man. Over 1,500 yards rushing, 24 touchdowns, I believe. That's just unbelievable production out of your running back. And like you said, him being paired with Trinidad is only going to help him with rushing lanes. It's interesting, though. I like this in the young man because he could have had a chance to transfer to LSU with his former coach, and he decided to stay at Mississippi. So, I salute that. Stay where you built something. I think him and Trinidad are in for a big season. Now, it'll be interesting. I don't think they can repeat. I think they'll be dynamic, but I don't think it'll quite be like when they had Charlie Weiss Jr. as their offensive coordinator. But Lacey, man, hats off to him. He definitely can be a first-team All-American. He definitely can be a Heisman finalist.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Our buddy Anthony popped in with he doesn't trust the O-line for Mississippi to hold up to allow him to produce like he did last year. And that's going to be the question. I think we all kind of just went on pure talent of what we saw, which we can only go by what we saw last year. We haven't seen what they're going to do this year, or else we'd have different rankings maybe. But that's a big, big question is what does the offense look like without Weiss there? Is it more of a run-based offense? Is it still going to be wide open dynamic? So we'll have to see how that plays out with the, losing, the head coach, the OC, all that. So that's going to be something that's good to watch. And Anthony also popped in and he said, he wanted to preface this that he's not saying this because he's a Hurricane fan, which we all know he's saying this because he's a Hurricane fan. That Mark Fletcher should be number 1 based on what he did in the playoffs and at the end of the season. And post-game said he had a case, which I agree. And I just straight up responded with the top 3 could be switched around in any order, and I think we'd be okay with it. They did. They did definitely beat my Aggies, and I gave all the props to them for it. I admitted 100% Mark Fletcher ran all over us. I'm not even going to try to hide from that. So, yeah, that's where we come down to. Quick run back down without going back through them all. We'll just go through the top 10 from 1 to 10. We went Lacey, Hardy Fletcher. No, Lacey Hardy Fletcher, Haynes, Ball, L.J. Martin, Cam Cook, Isaac Brown, Relique Brown, and Bo Jackson were our top 10. So if anybody's curious, that puts 4 out of the SEC, 3 out of the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, and 1 from the Big 10. So pretty spread out, pretty balanced. A little bit of representation from every conference. That's good. Kind of shocked the Big 10 only had 1 in there. Thought they'd have maybe more, but I think everybody's waiting to see what Marshall does up at Michigan before anointing him. Y'all got anything else you want to hit on?
Well, I think Anthony has a pretty good question right there if y'all want to tackle it.
Yeah, I was just about to send him a message in the chat, but now since we're talking about it, I think I look at guys like Turbo Richard going from BC to Indiana is a guy who can make a lot of plays under Kurt Signetti. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Notre Dame's running back room. Having Aeneas Williams, a guy when he's lined up at the wide receiver position, fellas, this is a versatile guy who can catch passes. And when he's lined up out wide, I couldn't tell the difference from the wide receivers and the running back. He's the running back, but I couldn't tell the difference. So that's a really, really versatile running back who's going to make plays for Irish this year. If I would have to say 2, I would have to say Turbo Richard and Aeneas Williams.
You got anybody, Rob?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that these guys are underrated, but they're going to be 2 guys that I'm really going to be watching this season. One is going to be C.J. Baxter, the running back transferring out of Texas, to see how well he does after coming back from that ACL injury. Really wasn't quite up to speed last year for Texas. I'm going to be watching to see how well he does. And also Christian Clark. I thought Christian Clark was going to be the running back who stayed at Texas out of all of those guys who ended up leaving. After he played in that bowl game against Michigan, he did really well, and he decided to hit the portal. So I want to be looking in on both of those guys. And then, of course, Trey Weiser, I want to see what he's going to do at Florida State. So those 3 running backs out of Texas that hit the transfer portal, I'm definitely going to be watching to see what those guys do. I don't think that they're underrated, but they're guys that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on.
Yeah, I was hoping I'd slip. I was hoping Wisner would slip through before you mentioned him because that's where I was going. I want to see if a fresh start does him right. A running back that I'm going to say is under the radar and underperformed in all of his time in college football so far, that I'm really wanting to see if he can finally live up to the hype he had coming out of high school, is Reuben Owens at Texas A&M. He's got to stay healthy. He made it through a whole year healthy yet. There's an ankle here, something. But for as much hype as he had, nobody's mentioning him. I didn't have him anywhere on my lists because I don't know what I'm going to get. But that's one I'm curious. And if he finds it and flips the switch, that makes that offense a whole lot different. So because mine got taken when y'all were going, I'm just going to throw him out there as somebody that I'm really curious to see. Like I said, he was the number 1 running back coming out of high school and hasn't lived up to near that billing. Good question, though, Anthony. Anthony, you always have good questions.
Yeah,
You're going to have to get on here.
Yeah, really good.
When we get into the fall, he's going to have to get on with us somehow to talk more about the breakdowns. Because he's got some good info and good insight.
Yeah, I think Rob talked about bringing him on for the Miami preview. I think he's a Miami fan, right?
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to have him and Justin Geiger on there together, man. Talking Miami for sure. I would definitely like to make that happen. Hopefully he's willing to do that.
For sure. Y'all got anything else?
I don't.
I want to, real quick, I know we just hit the hour mark. But I got one question. I was going to see if we had time to get to it today. And I got one question for y'all coming out of SEC meetings down there. Mike Elko took the stage today, and he asked numerous questions that he's like, I don't have the answer to that. I'm just a football coach, blah, 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 blah. But he mentioned that something has to be done with regulations, because if it does not happen in the next 2 years, these budgets for college football teams will be more than the TV media rights pay them. And then you're going to see college teams going bankrupt. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, to think of this billion-dollar industry that we could have teams like, I mean, I don't see it happening for an A&M, a Texas, and Notre Dame, but think of like these other schools, a TCU, some of these other smaller Power 4 schools that can't sustain that, and they just have to shut their doors. Thoughts? I thought it was crazy.
I mean, I think he's absolutely correct, man, because it's almost, they're going to have to eventually go have a CBA. They got to, man, because this thing is going to continue to get out of control. You can't have guys who are out there and they have this fantastic season, and then they start asking for these astronomical numbers, and they really got you handcuffed because you basically almost have to give them that because you don't want your opponent to get them, or you don't want to have to face them because, they might be in your conference or something. So it's like you have to get some regulations on this thing, man. And I think enough coaches out there understand that we got to do something. We cannot keep kicking the can down the road. We got to put some daggone limits on this thing. We got to put some things in place. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves dealing with a situation that's going to cause schools, like you said, to maybe have to fold their program up or to just become mediocre programs that have just become like a farm team for some of these upper echelon big bank teams that we got in college football.
Yeah, they cap the number. Cap it. A recruit goes and visits Texas. Rob tells him, yeah, we got $3 million for you. Then he goes to visit A&M. Sean tells him, yeah, I got $5 million for him. Then he goes up to Notre Dame. Yeah, we got $7 million for you. Then they counter, okay, we'll give you now. Okay, man, just cap the number. Cap it.
I honestly agree that there needs to be maybe a ladder system. Especially if we go to the 5-year lock-in, you get 5 years, X amount for your freshman, sophomore, whatever that number is. That's what you can earn at that level of your eligibility. What the number is, I don't know. That's why I'm on a podcast with you guys and not sitting in a meeting with the heads of college football. So, and that's what they asked Mike Elko too. Would you be interested in running it or being a part of it with your Ivy League education and all this stuff? And he goes, I'm a football coach. I don't know anything about that stuff. We got people that run billion-dollar industries all over this world. Let one of them do it because I don't know what we're doing. So I love Mike Elko when he talks. That dude is he just holds nothing back.
Yeah, Mike Elko is a real smart guy too, man. So for him to be saying that.
Yeah, for sure. And then real quick, before we get ready to cut on out, if y'all saw the news earlier, the NCAA has denied Brendan Sorsby's eligibility. Texas Tech is appealing.
Wow.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I want everybody to remember one thing. If he gets his way on a 6-game schedule, a 6-game ban, you know what his first game back is. Tech at Cincinnati.
Oh, but you know what? I knew the writing was on the wall when the judge from Texas Tech, what word they call that when a judge doesn't want the case or the rule on the case, whatever that word is, they gave it to somebody else. I knew they weren't going to rule in his favor when I saw that, because that judge is a Texas Tech alumni. So, I mean, yeah, he has to be punished, man. I'm sorry. It
I
just
agree.
has to, man.
I agree. And I think the judge is going to recuse himself from the trial.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Thanks.
I almost had to Google it. I'm not normally that smart. So, I don't think so. Maybe I need to look this one up. Are Mike Elko and Mario Cristobal from the Nick Saban tree? I don't think so. I don't think Elko's from the Saban tree. Cristobal, maybe. I thought Cristobal was from somewhere else, though.
I don't think Elko is. I know he spent some time at Notre Dame. He spent some time at Duke. I don't think he's from the Saban tree.
Wasn't Elko up there with BK? Right?
Yes, indeed.
And I don't remember where else, but he wasn't. I don't think he's ever been with Saban. I really don't. I don't think he was ever in the SEC before he was the DC at A&M after he left Notre Dame. And I'm pretty sure Mario Cristobal is not from the Nick Saban tree also. I'll have to do some research on that, Anthony. I can't honestly answer that. I can tell you Mike Elko is not from the Nick Saban tree. I do know that one, unless I'm totally wrong, which I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. Cristobal, not as much. I thought Cristobal I sound we're going to get into the Anthony part of the show now, guys. You sound Cajun a little bit. I don't know. Do I sound Cajun? I didn't think I did.
There's a little Southern twang in there.
Well, I'm from Texas, so I mean, of course. But I
don't
guess
think Cajun.
No.
I don't think Cajun.
I mean, if I start sounding like Coach O, y'all say something, and we'll just mute the mic because ain't nobody gonna understand what he's saying, But yeah, no, that's pretty good. I hadn't heard that one yet, but no, Brian Kelly trying to do the accent was the downfall of Brian Kelly at LSU before he even did anything there. That already put him backwards on that whole fan base.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be a disaster from the jump.
For sure. I think we all knew that was not going to end well. So if y'all don't have nothing else, we'll get ready to get on out of here for the evening. So I'll do some digging. I'm going to do some digging, Anthony, and next time you jump on with us, I'll have an answer for you about that.
Mario is from the Saban tree.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
Elko's
Elko's not. Yeah.
No.
Elko spent most of his time up in the north, up at Penn and all that up there.
Hofstra. Bowling Green, Wake Forest.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There are parts of Texas that are close to Louisiana, Beaumont and stuff like that out there, Port Arthur. I'm actually from North Texas, little town outside of Dallas, and then moved down towards south of Houston. So just Southern, not Cajun. But, yeah, we'll get into it next time. Tomorrow, I believe Moss has got a show coming up. Thursday, you back post-game Thursday? What are we going to do Thursday?
We're going to talk about how everyone likes their pizza.
Okay. Cool. I'm on board.
How y'all like that one?
Yeah. Hey, the bad thing is we could probably debate that longer than we could some of these other topics.
It's either plain cheese or vegetables on it for me, brother.
So we're going to do pizza talk on Thursday, Friday, we're going to do how to properly do a crawfish boil, since we got Cajuns mixed in now. And then we'll figure out Saturday and Sunday. We'll just wing it from there.
Yeah, let's go food until the season starts.
Right.
Why
right.
not?
Why not? Ratings might jump. So, for sure, most definitely. But in all seriousness, definitely keep your eyes out Thursday. Post game's going to have something popping, always does. Friday, we'll see what pops up. I might be on Friday with a preview with NASCAR, see what's going on. Of course, Saturday and Sunday, you can catch us 10 o'clock Saturday, 9 o'clock Sunday, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Right? 10 Saturday, 9 Sunday. Kind of just
No.
general.
Saturday is 10 and Sunday is 9.
Yeah. Did I say it backwards? I was speaking dyslexic again. It's fine. That's fine. I probably did. It's that Cajun coming out. You can't understand me. So most definitely, but y'all look down below. You'll see every channel, all the guys on here. Some of them couldn't make it tonight, but click on them. Go check their channels out. Like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. You'll know when any of us are going live. Any comments you want, drop them. We all respond to comments that are dropped on the feeds even after the show. We have a website, WTP SPORTSDUDES.com. Go there. There's a place to ask questions. Put your topics in there. Hey, could y'all talk about these topics? We can put a show together for you. We do this for y'all's entertainment, so tell us what you want to hear. We're on Patreon also. These are all uploaded to Patreon, Spotify. If you can't make it, but you want to listen to it, you can click it on Spotify. The podcast is WTP Sports Dudes 2026. You can look it up at podcast under Spotify and listen to it. All the episodes are shipped over there. I think I got off on my numbering. So if you follow the numbering system, don't please, because I think I'm off. But either way. And other than that, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody who mentioned stuff in the comments. And other than that, we'll catch y'all on the next show. All right. Well, as we always do, gentlemen, we'll just end it with saying peace.